Baggins, at least, and Mithril will join us later. Or at least he's planning to. I have no clue if we'll get Lunasar. It being a holiday, I decided to grab a more casual. No clue if we'll get Lunasar. Oh dear. Oh dear. Where am I? There we go. Oof. Had background me talking. And background me is the worst me.
I agree. Second worst.
No.
No, second worst. Worst you is whenever you get high on pure Diet Dr. Pepper syrup. That you is insufferable.
That me doesn't exist.
It does. I just legally can't talk about it more than just acknowledging it exists.
Why are you the way that you are?
I am perfect the way that I am. Why are you the way that you are?
You made him the way that he is.
Wait, where is that?
Barely heard that.
Why is that not working? Okay, wait. If I do this... Nope, that didn't work. Oh, wait, that's the wrong thing.
Check, check.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Just barely. Let me make sure that's not on me. Nope, I have you
Or
at
am I
like
breaking
regular
up?
volume.
Oh, I don't know how to boost the volume from this end.
Well, you just got louder, so you did something.
I didn't even change anything.
Maybe you just were leaning more into it.
Everyone, John here. Welcome
Are you on
to
a
another
headset microphone, or do you have like a standalone
I'm on
microphone?
Literally on a laptop, which, by the way, I just flashed Linux onto 4 days ago. So yeah, there are teething issues.
Hmm.
I'm literally sitting in the room behind Splice.
Oh.
It's true. This is something he's doing.
Are you planning on assassinating him?
If Larry decides to get cute.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, looks like we're getting a Lunasar.
He didn't even log in, or he didn't respond.
You don't have to respond. Lunasar can just show up whenever he wants. He, after all, is a town in Connecticut.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, your activation volume is just all messed up where you're blinking in and out. You might just want to... But not you, Lunasar. Breakfast.
I'm neither late nor early. I arrive precisely when I mean to.
You are not a wizard.
No, but if he wins the trivia game, he could be a quizzard.
You're fired. We will open auditions for new Splice tomorrow.
Unfortunately, that can't happen.
It can. I am the CEO of Splice Stream International.
You need to quit making up titles for yourself in companies that I'm not involved in.
I mean, I have many companies that you're not involved in. I made you the #1 streamer in Estonia.
None of
There
these
might
things
be
are true.
some Estonian streamers that might take issue with that.
Yes, but none of them have surreptitiously been betrothed to Estonian royalty to get me more money, like Splice has.
Splice, you were engaged?
No. Again,
Many
I
times-
don't know why you believe anything this man says.
Many times over. You'd be surprised how many Slavic royalties would just like take any American that you betroth them to.
Splice, I told you to knock it off with the mail-in brides.
A friend of mine has actually listened in to some of the antics on here, and he has decreed that if he ever were to do a live stream of any kind, I would not be allowed in his stream.
He's frankly smarter than I am.
Color me shocked. Just shocked.
Well, not that shocked. Anyway, we're just going to wait for a Baggins.
Have I been clear as of late?
Yeah, much better.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Going good.
They're making fun of me.
What?
Sorry,
You
I was
haven't-
putting a brisket on the smoker.
I think you misunderstood. We were making fun of Kamizite.
I thought we were making fun of Splice.
I don't think anyone was making fun of you.
Yeah, I don't think anyone was making fun of me. We were talking about how I betrothed Splice to half the Eastern Slavic bloc for money. And so when weird quasi-Russians start showing up, wondering why Splice isn't in Europe marrying them, you know why?
Why do you do this, Kamizite?
Why? Because your life would be boring
Thank you,
without me.
that hit.
Wait a second. Okay, let's do a quick mic check. Baggins, say a full sentence.
A full sentence of what I am saying now.
Okay. Breakfast, give me something.
Fine. Just let me grab something real quick and I'll take it into you.
What?
You told him to give you something, so he's giving you something.
Okay. Kamizite, give me a full
Yo,
sentence.
what's up? What are we doing? What are we? Is this the part where I take over the stream and we get into the King Kami arc of the Splice stream? I've got a throne.
That's never going to be a thing. All right, Lunasar.
It might be a thing.
How did I just know that Baggins would say a full sentence as his sentence?
I didn't say that as my sentence. I said a full sentence is what I am saying now.
It was part of it.
It was part of it. It was not my sentence.
It was a subset within the full set.
Well, as great as this scintillating repartee is, let's get started. I'm going to see. Where's that thing? I need the thing.
Do the thing.
He's going to do the thing.
What thing are we doing?
Well,
The thing.
looks like I'm not going to be able to do chat like that. Let me see if I can.
Baggins knows what I'm talking about.
So while we're waiting for Splice to finish, anyone picking up anything interesting on the Steam sale this week?
Is there anything to pick up?
I was looking at it to see if there's anything. I will admit, seeing the 15% off some of the Steam Deck is somewhat tempting, but also still very expensive.
Still very expensive. I enjoy mine. I picked
do
up
enjoy
Sea of
mine, too.
Stars.
Sea of Stars is an excellent game.
Ooh,
It is.
What's Sea of Stars sale?
Sea of Stars is hold on. What did I pay for Sea of Stars? Now I've got to go.
'Cause
Find
I didn't see it on the featured page.
You didn't see if
It's not on
stars
the
it?
features. It's not on the featured page, but it definitely was. Let me real quick, and I'll tell you what it costs.
I should put that on my wish list. Goodness.
Sea of Stars is currently $24.49.
I am going to pick up Sea of Stars, but I'm waiting for it to come out on GOG.
That's not great. It's only 30%, but it's something.
Well, I mean,
30%.
Well, I'm just saying there are other things I was looking at that were like 90%.
I mean, to be fair, the game is only about a year old.
True.
Exactly, and it's one of those things where I enjoy the fact that it's on discount, but I will pay a little bit of money for it. I don't need it to go on crazy discount for it because it is a spiritual successor to my favorite game of all time. So
yes, I do agree with that. It's just
and I've enjoyed
when you
it.
have a
so
backlog
far.
that's able to go around the planet once or twice. It gets harder to justify.
Luckily, you have children to help with that backlog. That's what they're for, right?
Well, this is true. This is true. There are so many games I haven't gotten around to that they have,
And they're very happy to spoil for you.
And yes, some of them have learned not to spoil, so now instead they're like, when are you going to play it? When are you going to play it? When are you going to play it?
I picked up Dave the Diver, Thimbleweed Park, and the remake of Riven.
Riven was the sequel to Myst, yeah?
Correct.
Yes.
And the remake of Riven looks absolutely gorgeous.
All right, I'm now ready. Sorry for the delay, gang.
Wow, and the original Riven's like $2.40.
All right, here we go. I remember I was but a lad, and the next door neighbor had gotten a new game, and I went over to play it. There were a lot of weird enemies. It wasn't what I was expecting, including one sentient bomb that I picked up and threw, and was very confused when it exploded, and its text box said, bomb. I'm, of course, talking about the bob-ombs in Super Mario World 2, also known as Mario USA. This is, I Think We Overleveled, number 19, and considering that tomorrow is going to be the 4th of July's time of recording, I thought we'd have a nice stream talking about our favorite explosions in video games. There's a lot. Did anyone else play Mario 2 and get confused by an explosion that says bomb?
No.
Not confused, amused.
Amused, not confused. Yeah, same here.
I was very
Not
confused.
amused, but bemused.
No, there's something about those. It's interesting what didn't carry over from the original Mario 2, because they had a lot of really bizarre enemies, and I'm really confused why one of my favorite explosive enemies, that being Mouser, hasn't ever showed up anywhere.
Wait, you really don't know why?
No.
Because it was another game, and that because it was another game, all those characters are proprietary to that other game.
Well,
no.
What about Bob-ombs?
Well, it did bring a lot of the characters into the franchise, though.
That's true.
Birdo.
Like half the characters in the Mario universe are from that.
Bob-ombs, Shy Guys,
Don't take
Ninjas.
over. Yeah.
That's a good point. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe Mouser maybe Mouser just didn't have like a great agent like the rest of them did. I mean, can you imagine Shy Guy's representation?
Maybe he just retired after the Super Show. I don't know.
Exactly.
If I were to guess, it's because Mouser doesn't fit the Mario aesthetic as much as the other characters did.
Also, Wart never came back as far as I know, and he didn't even make it into the Super Show.
He was a dream.
Triclyde, which was the little three-headed serpent thing, didn't make it in. And I don't think the little crab thing, which I don't
None of the bosses made it.
Except Birdo.
Birdo did.
Birdo's
Birdo was
a
sort of
mid-boss. I don't think Birdo was ever the final boss of all. Any point is, Mouser threw a lot of bombs, and that's why I brought him up.
The whole thing was a dream.
Then how did the bombs come into the real world?
Well, the bombs are like are kind of like beholders in D&D, because beholders aren't actually real. They're nightmares that were made manifest through magic and are aberrations. And so it's the same thing. The bombs just apparate, and each bomb is a bomb unto itself.
Well, how about this? It's all Miyamoto's dreams, and bombs were a reoccurring nightmare for him. How about that?
I don't know. Point is, explosions are fun in games. And I want to talk about another one of my favorites. It's a game series that has a lot of different types of bombs, but I'm particularly partial to Bomb Chews in Ocarina of Time. Just because the concept of these bombs that go up walls, it's a lot of fun, even if they're really hard to aim.
And look like adorable little mice.
Indeed. There's something to be said for adorable explosions.
I'm trying to remember. You couldn't have bombs and bomb chews at the same time, though, could you?
No, you could.
Yeah, you could.
Oh, okay.
Bomb chews were just sort of hard to get. I think you could only buy bomb chews. I might be wrong on that. I thought you could only buy them. And they're hard to aim because they have that weird zigzag pattern.
It's like I feel like I had done most of the game before I ever used my first bomb chew in there. But yeah.
I just sort of I like seeing the weird pathing it would take if you like did anything slightly diagonal. Because it would just go all ski-wampus.
Yep.
But no, Legend of Zelda has a ton of bombs. Because you got your regular bombs, you got your bomb arrows.
Bomb arrows, yep.
The flower bombs, which is very concerning on a biological scale when you think about it.
Don't forget the super bomb in Link to the Past.
True.
Oh yeah, that was a great bomb. Well, I mean, we got bomb arrows, which makes me think of when they first showed up in Twilight Princess, where I'm like, holy crap.
First showed up in Twilight Princess. Did you not play Link's Awakening?
I mean, I played Link's Awakening. I don't...
If you equipped arrows and bombs at the same time and pushed both buttons, you would fire bomb arrows.
I did not know this.
Did I know that? I'm not sure that I did. But either way...
No, Twilight Princess, him having bomb arrows, that was a reference.
Oh, well, that's cool. Well, the way it worked in Twilight Princess, I'm like, oh, dude, it's like Link has a rocket launcher. This is amazing.
If the rocket launcher had really limited range.
Yeah, and but yeah, it came back in Breath of the Wild and was pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. And then they did a weird version of it in Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah,
there's everything arrows in Tears of the Kingdom.
Well, in Tears of the Kingdom, I mean, at least you didn't. They were a very scarce resource in Breath of the Wild, but they became much more common and easy to get a hold of in Tears of the Kingdom.
They started off as a scarce resource in Breath of the Wild. By the end of the game, I was loaded with them. It was great.
Well, that now you have the manifestable bombs and the square bombs in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
yes, the square bombs. I was so disappointed though because the explosions in Breath of the Wild were so weak. Like I understand why, because it was like
because it's free.
It's free, and so you can do as many as you want. But still, it was just like this feels like it should do more.
And well, unless it hits yourself, it did plenty of self damage. You just didn't do as much to others.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't stop me from killing a Hinox on Eventide Island with just the bombs. Took forever.
Yeah, all I know is that Breath of the Wild bombs led to shenanigans. And I'm just gonna...
Well, that, and also in the original Zelda game, and also in Ocarina of Time, killing Dodongos with bombs. That was always a classic.
Yeah. I mean, I can't wait to, fight a bunch of Dodongos.
Well, that was one of the cool things, because I loved the original Zelda, and so when Ocarina of Time came out, and you went to Dodongo's Cavern, it's just like, ooh, how's this going to happen? And it's just like, oh, this is... okay, they've scaled it up, but just a tad.
And then the other thing about the bombs is just the fact that those very first bombs in the very first game were your only access to all the secret rooms.
True.
And
Yeah.
which
Not to mention in the very like how many secret rooms there were in the first Zelda game.
yeah.
Well, yeah. Just think about like how that final dungeon, without bombs would be like. It might actually be impossible. But
I think it is impossible.
But if you know exactly where, if you know that map really well, it becomes like a super easy dungeon because you could just bomb walls straight to the end.
Yeah.
But like I've been watching a bunch of Zelda randomizers lately. Actually, some madman took Zelda, Link to the Past, Super Metroid, and combined them, and then randomized all the items across them, and then decided to take it to the next level, and also added in the Legend of Zelda and the original Metroid. Combine them all so that certain rooms that you go into will transition you to a different game, and so like you could, open a chest in Zelda and find the power bombs from Super Metroid.
Naturally.
And so, like, basically all of the chests and items have been shuffled up together. And so suddenly there's all sorts of rooms that they need to check in the original Zelda. And I was just like, I didn't realize there were this many secret caves.
Oh, well, did you play Hyrule Warriors?
No.
So,
briefly.
So there was an adventure mode where you go through the map of like the original Zelda, and like every tile is a stage, but also just about every room had a secret to unlock something, some prize or required to play the level. And there was a secret room in every single thing, and I looked it up. They weren't made up for Hyrule Warriors. They're from the original game. I didn't realize it. Like just about every single room, and
not every single, but very close.
Yeah, very close to every single tile on the map had something. I think maybe the starting area was one of the few that didn't.
Well, and then the other explosion thing with the Legend of Zelda is the fact that, like in Breath of the Wild, you have those exploding barrels that you can set up traps with.
Oh, yes.
Or more hilariously, watch people who they go to set up a trap and it horribly backfires.
Oh, that's even better.
Those are some of my favorite videos on the internet. Just people planning on doing something awesome and then one little thing goes awry. But no, the Legend of Zelda, like I think you could make like a top 10 bombs list on that by itself.
Oh yeah.
What would be the top one though? For me, it's Bomb Chews.
I like bomb arrows.
Yeah, I think I might have to say bomb arrows, but there is definitely a special place for the giant bomb that gives you the last weapon upgrade in Link to the Past.
Oh, absolutely, the butter sword.
Yes, the butter sword and the giant bomb.
No. Speaking of giant bombs, did anyone play Bomberman 64?
Yes. The
Absolutely.
only Bomberman I'm familiar with is Atomic Bomberman for the PC.
No, Bomberman 64 had one of the most fun multiplayers I've ever played.
Same here. Me and my sisters, or like if friends came over, we'd come. You'd do the multiplayer. If you got then what you would do is if you got the infinity mode, or not the infinity mode, the invulnerability, you just drop your bombs, let one explode, and then just keep dropping bombs, and just have like an aura of explosion around you as you went around the map, and could practically take out anyone.
Well, and the fact that you could turn on the ghost mode, where and unlike a lot of ghost modes, it's not like Mario Kart where you drive around as a bomb in Mario Kart 64, but you become a ghost and you literally jump on opponents' back and you can influence how they move until they shake them off. And so you could play spoiler after you died. I don't know. I just really liked it, and especially because you'd get like the red bombs, which are the bigger explosion, and then you could do the pump it up, where like you lift the bomb up in the air and you could, I think it was tap B or whatever, and it would start charging the bomb up, and it would get cartoonishly big.
I remember
you could also
vaguely.
You could also get power-ups, which would increase the amount you would get, not just powering it up, just so that everyone you dropped had like this insane radius.
Yeah. Although, with the way it works in Bomberman 64, that can backfire real quick.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all part of the game. No, it's the hurry up that's in whenever you're running out of time.
Yeah.
It'll forever be seared into my memory.
Like it was basically like not a serious Mario Party because it was just the one game. But I mean, it could still get pretty competitive, especially if like you and me, Splice, you have lots of siblings around.
Yep. No, it's a ton of fun. The where I played it the most was my buddy's house, and they had all the stages, and you could kick the bombs if you were strategic, kick them into people. I don't know. It's weird. Like there's just nothing that beats couch co-op.
Nothing at all.
No, Bomberman. Bomberman's a weird series because it's been around forever, but I don't feel like it's ever been a big deal. I just feel like it's always sort of just been there, chugging along.
Yeah, it's never really tried to take the spotlight.
Yeah, it's because it's in that Mario era of being there, and
Bomberman, as far as I know, is one of the most requested additions for Smash Brothers. Right
yeah,
now.
I mean he's an assist trophy now, but
Well, and Konami owns it now, right? It used to be, I mean, it was made by Hudson Soft and Broderbund, but I believe Konami's what owns it now.
Yeah.
Hudson Soft and Broderbund. That takes me back.
yeah, Hudson Soft definitely did own it in the 64 era. Let's just look up Bomberman.
Look at that. I'm pretty sure Konami's the one that does the new Super Bomberman R games.
List of Bomberman video. Holy cow! They released so many Bomberman games between 1990 and 2010. They were releasing Bomberman games on average 3 or 4 a year. How is that even possible?
It's a lot of Bombermen.
But like, listen, like, okay, 1990, Bomber Boy, Bomberman, Bomberman the arcade game, Bomberman 2, Bomber King, Scenario 2, in 92, Bomberman World, Bomberman 93, in 93, Super Bomberman, Bomberman 94. Like, they were freaking... Was Bomberman the first Madden game?
Possibly.
Like,
I
yeah,
don't know. Has Madden done a darker and edgier version that failed miserably?
probably. Well, like, I'm looking...
I mean, like, the odds are is that it was at one point a Madden game, but bombs were just some of the things that they've put behind a paywall now.
True. But like in 2007, they released Bomberman Land for the Wii, Bomberman Story for the DS, Bomberman Land for the PSP, Bomberman Live, and Bomberman Land Touch 2. All in 1 year. And yeah, it's Konami now.
Which was that darker and edgier one that was like their worst game that failed miserably?
Shadow the Bomberman.
Was that it?
There's
No, I'm making a very bad reference.
instead of Shadow the Hedgehog.
There it is.
What era was it? Because there's so many of these, it's hard to find. Bomberman Blitz, maybe, or Bomberman Ultra?
I feel like it was.
No, that still looks cutesy.
I feel like it was like PS2 GameCube era, but I'm not
Let's
seeing it on
see.
this list.
PS2. Bomberman Hero? No, that's the N64. No, I seem to remember something. Like, did he have like a brand new design? Like he's out of
Oh,
the
yeah.
the
It was
Battle
like-
Network era or something?
Well, like it was going for somewhat more photorealistic instead of cartoonish.
Yeah, I'm looking for this. Now that you say that, there's a Bomberman kart game? Why am I not surprised?
Super Bomber Van.
It feels like everyone has got like some kind of a cart game.
I found it. Bomberman Act Zero for the Xbox 360. Oh, I've got to find footage of this. Bomberman
there it is.
Act Zero gameplay.
Oh, there it is. Oh my goodness.
It's not a good sign when you look up Bomberman Act Zero and the first thing that pops up is a what happened video.
Yep.
That is a very bad sign. Apparently that's part of the Konami era, though. All right. Let's
I
see.
didn't realize that Robo Warrior was technically a spin-off. I had no idea.
Wow.
But yeah, look at this, the darker, grittier.
But it's still Bomberman.
Graphics.
Like, the gameplay is still just Bomberman.
Yeah, it's just Bomberman, but the graphics are all, look how gritty and graphic intense.
Like, I was expecting this to be like some sort of,
Do you
Like-
know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of like the Genesis Batman game. And just like it just seems like somebody just like sitting there, what can we do to like reboot Bomberman for like the kids today? Yes, let's make him the knight. I am justice. I am Bomberman.
man.
Like it is not good.
Holy cow, man. Cool, man. Did you play this in chat? Yeah, I guess that must have just been they didn't want cutesy stuff. It's just weird to me that if you don't want cutesy stuff, you still want the exact same gameplay. Like when I saw the cover, I just sort of assumed it was, it's going to be like, here's the new 3D platformer Bomberman with a storyline or something. And it's like, nope, still the same guy.
Where you're out to avenge the murder of your father.
Yeah, by destroying blocks. I don't know. This I didn't know about this. That you've unlocked something in my memory by bringing this up, Lunasar.
I hope this doesn't unearth something
It's,
deep within me.
It's trauma that must be brought up on occasion.
Indeed. Oh, okay, man.
Oh, hey, I didn't even see. Cool, man. You threw $2 for a super chat or something like that. Thank you very much
Yes.
on behalf of Place.
I'm waiting for the actual alert to go through because last time I did it way too early and then oh my goodness, that is the most insane design I've ever seen. All right.
Definitely on behalf of Splice, because we're unpaid labor here.
Indeed.
Oh.
Exactly.
Yeah, Mithril says it's after the huge backlash against Wind Waker, saying, "Oh, we don't want Kitty." Though, while he mentions Wind Waker, I do love the Wind Waker bomb. The cartoony explosion that is.
Yes.
Oh, it was
Smash.
great.
Yeah, it has one of the best
I love
looking. And I always stand by it. The reason everyone was mad at Wind Waker had nothing to do with it being kiddie. It had everything to do with the fact that they showed us the demo of the darker,
Yes.
edgier Link, and then they went kiddie.
Oh yeah. Well, that, and also there was the issue of, is this what Link's going to be from now on?
Yeah.
And you know, all they had to do was like, no, we want to do 2 different styles, and we're doing this for this game. Like, if that was clear, no one would have been upset at all. But
Nintendo and messaging them, what? No.
What? You want
they've
clarity?
gotten better though at it.
Somewhat. Like with a lot of things Nintendo, it tends to be 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 3.5 steps back, 10 steps forward, and then they went left somewhere. And
then they trip backwards into a lawsuit with someone.
Yeah.
I have a explosion in gaming.
Okay.
Probably not one anyone's thinking of. But it's definitely one, as places come to learn, that is one that I deal with regularly, and that is the explosions in Civilization 6. When you go after in the late game and you get like thermonuclear bombs, and you just finally have had it with India, who was the people who were really bothering us this last game. It's just like, all right, sorry, India.
I do
We know
love
that,
in Civ how you carry over grudges to leaders. Like, you punish them for their alternate universe versions.
Like, it really, like, there's some of them that are just you just want to just like go after them, because like Alexander, who's a twerp. Every time
Gandhi was
in there.
aggressive, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was a bug in the original game, and
But they've kept it going forward because it's hilarious.
Because it's hilarious. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, but like I've always enjoyed just like especially once you get like to the end game, it's like sitting there, it's like, I've got a giant death robot. Let's just go and let's just laser a city and explode it. And you know, especially like if you're grinding and you're trying to get, and you've just got like this grudge on with somebody who's trying to impede on your land. Like the last couple of games that I played with my partner, like I tend to be like, I try to go like the economic route. And very early on, I was on a continent with 2 other people who decided they were going to pick a war with me. And then it was, all right, well, I've at least got a whole bunch of money, so I can fund myself a quick army here and get a bunch of armies and just take them out. And then they're like, oh, nope, nothing is better than when you get to their capital and you just explode it down and it just blows up, and then you just take over, and then they just have to admit defeat in front of you. It is great.
You're scaring me.
This is why we let him play Civ, so he can get this aggression out there.
It's nice to see some of the pictures of some of the stupid stuff I do in Civ. You remember the picture that I had of me renaming all the cities?
I don't remember this.
You don't?
You've done a lot of weird, shady stuff. I can't remember everything.
First of all, I don't do weird, shady stuff. Everything that I do is above the board. Now, the stuff that I do in the name of the Splice stream is under the board. But Kami is above board.
I'm going to take us all into a tangent to a nuclear warhead that I am familiar with.
Okay.
Nuclear launch detected.
No, not. Well, I mean, I am familiar with that one, but not the one I was going for.
Ah, sorry.
There's this game I played. It's called War Thunder. It's a vehicular combat game. You drive tanks and fly planes.
There's nuclear war in that?
You can get nuked in that game?
Drive tanks and fly planes well enough, you can achieve a nuclear reward.
Oh, so it's sort of like Call of Duty rules?
Like Call of Duty rules. And it's an instant win condition.
How many do you have to get for that?
But there's a bit of an explanation between it for it. You can earn, because like in ground, it's mostly in ground battles where you're driving tanks. You can earn credits and points in certain modes. It's used for respawning In other modes, it's used to spawn aircraft for strategic strikes. But if you hoard them up and get enough of them, you need 15 air credits or 2,500 spawn points. You can spawn an aircraft with a nuclear bomb in. Now, the caveat is you have to get over the engagement zone to drop the bomb. So if they intercept you or shoot you down before you enter the engagement zone, you lose the nuke. So the enemy have one final desperate chance to prevent the instant win condition. But when that nuke goes off, they did a very good job of representing what that nuke would do to the battlefield, because you see the flash and then the camera pans up and over the battlefield as you see the shockwave just destroy everything, friend and foe alike. It always amuses me because you're literally nuking your teammates, whoever might be left alive down there. But for the longest time, I couldn't get one. I just couldn't seem to, and I even got 4 of them. I earned enough points, but the match ended before I could drop it. The first one that I earned and dropped took place New Year's Day of 2023. I wish it hadn't been such a, prophecy, but anyway. But I will remember that day in infamy. I have since earned quite a few, and each map reacts differently for when the nuke is dropped on it. But there was one time where the game glitched out and the camera did not pan overhead. So I actually remained on the battlefield as I'm watching the flash, the mushroom cloud go up, and this shockwave destroying everything around me and approaching me. Personally, I kind of preferred that. It was kind of cool.
That's always fun.
Yes, there are nukes in War Thunder.
Yeah.
And I have used it to turn games around. There were at least 2 games that I was going to lose, but I earned a nuke and dropped it.
Their gate was down. No, the Helldivers 2 actually has really good nukes in it. It's just basically it's one of the mission types is to launch like a missile essentially. And so you have to go get codes and stuff, and then you have to spend a long time standing around the silo getting ready to launch it. But then when it launches, it just goes off way in the distance. And so you go about doing stuff, but when it lands, you see the flash. Like they make it realistic. You see the flash first, then the sound hits, and then the blast wave hits, and they do a good job of making it, even though you were nowhere close, you feel that explosion. And no matter what I'm doing, I always watch it because, it's fun to look at explosions. I'm not a cool guy.
No, I mean, explosions are fun. Which, by the way, I did find that picture and I did put it in our chat for the rest of you to check out. You can tell the path that I took by my taunting ways.
Yeah, speaking of explosions are fun, I put a link in the Watch Together chat for a video. Mine is, did any of y'all play the original NES version of Bionic Commando?
Oh, actually, I mentioned this one to Lizzie.
Yeah.
Like, should I bring this one up?
Okay, so basically, at the very end, there is a sequence of 3 explosions, each one impressive in its own way. So the first one is you have to swing over and make a thread the needle shot with a bazooka into the cockpit of this helicopter.
I'm sorry, was that Hitler?
Yes.
No, that was Master D.
In the U.S. version, Master D. Yeah,
Master D is his name.
Because I'm pausing the video here, and I'm fairly certain that you killed Hitler and made his face go all zombie.
Blew up his head, actually.
That was more violent than I realized Bionic Commando was.
Yes, it is.
So this was the very first time
on the NES, without question.
This was the very first time I remember just thinking, "Whoa, am I allowed to be watching this?" When I played a video game, because most of the time it's like, this is very, very, rudimentary. Of course, it doesn't even seem, you can't even tell what's really happening. But that I was like, oh, I know exactly what happened here. But then if you continue,
Yeah,
to the
you
end of it-
freaking Raider of the Lost Ark him.
But the thing is, at the very end, that's the explosion that actually always has stuck with me. Because like you see the base kind of blowing up, and then there's this gorgeous still shot of kaboom.
Yeah, you timed that pretty well.
And yeah, it's just kind of like this to me will always be like the game explosion.
On an NES game, no less.
And this is actually the very first load-bearing boss I think I ever fought. You know, where you beat the game and then you have to get out before the base explodes.
That was a big explosion. Although I'm more focused again on the face melting of Hitler.
Well, you know.
And of course, the timing of that's when, you know, my little one who should be in bed gets out of bed and comes down. What's going on?
Well, that'll teach them.
Oh, did that just happen now?
Yeah.
Of course it did.
But no, it's funny. I like I said, I did mention just earlier that should I bring up this explosion? I probably should, but I guess Baggins beat me to it. Because it is definitely an epic video game explosion.
That is one of my favorite games of all time. I've beaten it so many times.
Oh, it's a great game.
That's the one where your girlfriend's your arm, right?
No. That's the remake that
that's
doesn't
the
exist.
Remake that.
Just wanted to throw that grenade in there.
Yeah, thank you for that
Monster.
explosion. Thank you.
Everyone loved that decision. It was a good decision.
Though I do love the Bionic Commando Rearmed remake, though. That was.
It was a good remake. I still prefer the original, but it was a good remake. There's just something about the original that just has this charm to it.
Well, and it's remarkably fluid for an NES game with how you move.
It really is.
Especially one where you move that vertically.
Now,
And
I
with
will say it took me a while to figure out what the heck I'm supposed to do, because like one of the first levels you can go into, you just walk and there's it's like an impassable waist high wall type thing. And I'm just like, why can't I jump? Let me jump. But because there is no jumping in the game. But the grappling hook is just a great mechanic.
Whenever you can get grappling and swinging work, it always feels good.
I also like that they actually programmed in that when you swing, if you come in contact with an enemy, it kicks them and they go flying backwards.
Yep.
So what about the bombs? How do you feel about sentient bombs? I've always been kind of weirded out by them.
We're circling back to this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's okay, I guess. I mean, like, I played Cyberpunk, where one of the weapons is sentient, so, you know, Skippy. So, I mean, same difference. It's just a weapon of destruction. Like, if you play D&D, technically, depending on what rules you play with, Warforged are walking bombs if you set off their arcane cores. So,
Or
I mean,
mechs
how do you feel-
and Warforged if you set them off
Exactly.
critically.
Well, I always thought it strange about bombs how they basically would, you know, if they ever did the one thing they can do, that they'd cease to exist. Though, I guess that question was somewhat answered in the 1,000-Year Door, where when you got a bomb on your party.
I thought it was Paper Mario where you got Bombette.
1,000-Year Door is the second Paper Mario game.
Yeah, and
But I think the original you had Bombette.
I think you're right.
But you get Bobbery, the ship captain bomb in 1,000-Year Door.
Okay.
But he explodes, but he doesn't take any damage. But he explodes.
It makes no sense.
Yeah, because I remember Bombette was you had the out of battlefield attacks. Like if you hit them with the hammer, you could send her, and she would do like 5 damage if you timed it right.
I didn't actually play the original Paper Mario.
Well, and then Origami King also has Bobby.
So his real name is
Bobby
Robert
Hill?
Baum.
That's largely because I didn't have a 64 for the longest time, so... Technically, the 64 I have is Lizzie's, so...
Well, luckily for you, that whole marriage thing means what's yours is hers and what's hers is yours.
Yep.
But no, but bombs just were, as a concept, I was a little uncomfortable with it as a kid. Because you're throwing something with eyes, which implies sentience on some level. Or at least a little bit of sapience.
No, it's just a very
My favorite
deep
moment in
proverb.
Mario Brothers live action movie.
It's a very deep proverb where you if you explode, you're only destroying yourself.
I didn't realize it was so philosophical.
It's truly a philosophical wonder.
And then they also introduced
I will agree with
Pizza.
breakfast though, because the Bob-omb in the Super Mario Brothers live action movie was kind of awesome.
It's a bomb!
He's got up a bomb.
Speaking of sentient bombs, Lizzie just mentioned something in the chat. Prinnies from Disgaea. The giant well, not giant, but full-size penguin bombs.
I didn't believe them when they said if you throw us, we explode. Just like, there's no way that's true. And so I threw one of them because you could throw your teammates to get them into position, and then they blew up and were permanently dead. And I'm like, I didn't actually believe that would happen.
I don't know what I expected.
Well, they warned you.
They did. I just didn't believe them. I thought they were lying.
But they can be used as an effective weapon. It does do damage.
Poor Prinnies. Poor Prinnies.
Which actually does remind me of a picture Lizzie once drew, and it was the TF2 demo man shooting Prinnies out of his grenade launcher.
Oh my goodness, it's hilarious.
And it shot out, and dude, as it's flying towards its target. It was wonderful.
For me, that's another iconic bomb, the sticky bomb.
Oh yeah, man, the explosions in TF2, the pipe bomb, the sticky bomb, bomb jumping, and and rocket jumping too. All of that, the soldier and the demo man were just great explosions in games.
Using the explosions for movement is such an interesting decision because TF2 is so good at making it so that you can punish people for going too far forward. Because you have the spy, but then you also have the demo man and the soldier that let you get over the enemy in a way most games do not allow.
Well, yeah, and I just love the demo man. Like, he can indirectly attack, he can create traps, just to completely explode something, and position himself with the sticky bombs as well. Like, I don't know, he's still one of my favorite classes in that game for that reason. He has just so many options with his explosions. They're fantastic. And let's not forget how amazing it feels to hit someone with like a crit pipe bomb. Actually, crit explosions, whether you're the soldier or the demo, is always a good feeling.
They're such.
Oh, I know I've angered some of the people in here, getting them with a random crit explosion. Good time.
Crits are a completely fair mechanic. And I love them. No, I need to get back into TF2 now that they've gotten rid of a lot of the bots.
Yeah, I saw that. I should check it out. That was like just in this past week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently they went crazy with the banhammer, and they're not taking any appeals. They're just, nope, if we think you're a bot, you're gone. Period.
Wow.
It straight up
I mean,
deleted
they
their
needed-
account.
They needed to do something to be quite honest. I mean,
Yeah.
it was bad. Which in itself you could count as an explosion, I feel.
Yeah, I almost wonder if that makes the game playable again, because I've missed it and I've occasionally tried to play it again, only to have bots just completely ruin it, and bots that are going out of their way to show, yes, I am a bot.
Yeah, that's not polite, I would say. I dare say it's even rude.
I mean, I don't know. And this might be a side tangent. I have never understood, like, bot culture. Like, if I'm going to be bad at a game, I'm going to be bad at a game. But at least I'm the one being bad at the game. Like, I've never felt the need to grab a bot and just go own up, because, I don't know, my account did well, but I didn't. That's
Well,
not
the
an accomplishment for me.
TF2 is a specific problem because they have an economy.
Yeah, but they're using it. Yeah, they're using it to farm trades.
And if you don't play, it doesn't award stuff. So they have to make bots that actually do stuff.
Hey, Breakfast, are you far from your mic? It's hard to hear you sometimes.
No, I'm sitting. It's on my head.
Oh, it's very quiet.
Anyway, yeah, so TF2 had a different issue altogether than most bot things. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't get people who, especially, I love when people cheat on stream and get caught. That's a personal favorite of mine. I'm always willing to giggle on that one. No, the other one that I just like the explosion in TF2 because it just feels satisfying is just the rockets from the Engineer Sentry, because that's a real double-edged sword. My two most played classes are Engineer and Spy, and so sometimes some good engineers are near impossible to sap. So what I'll do instead is just stand behind them and uncloak so that their turret turns around and just blows us both to smithereens.
That's funny.
And then let the team take them out now that they're not there to repair. I just love that little touch as far as game balance goes, that the turrets hurt the engineers too. So that you have something to play around. It's good stuff. No, when you Mithril in chat brings up explosive barrels, are you referring to the ones in Donkey Kong Country or in Smash? I mean, I guess they're sort of the same. But
What about the ones in
in what?
Doom?
Doom. Gotcha. Yeah, those are. What's the level that's like all explosive barrels?
Barrels of Fun.
Yeah, that's right. I'm like, I knew I had a. Jeez. Where suddenly you have to be very careful about where you're shooting in a game where you haven't been careful at all. I think everyone's at least blown themselves up once playing that map. No?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I was thinking the original Donkey Kong Country barrels, the TNT ones that you could blow stuff up.
The way you destroy the giant Smurf gremlins.
That's what I thought he meant too.
The Smurf Kremlings. Oh, right.
Gremlins.
Yes. The clump. At least I think that's clump. I don't have them
I'm
memorized.
pretty sure he's a giant Smurf, whatever.
Well, regardless. No, the Doom explosive barrels are good. The Doom rocket launcher is a ton of fun as well, because it's the first game I remember playing where you had to be careful about proximity. Because there was definitely a downside to that rocket launcher. Long range only. Because it had an impressive blast radius. That's the thing that's so good about explosions in general in games is you can program a real good risk reward to them that just fit in naturally, whereas a lot of other weapons don't have that. It's an interesting game design problem.
I can't tell you how many times I blew myself up with the rocket launcher in Bionic Commando.
What? Oh, in the remake.
Was it just the remake that had the in the remake?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
In the
Definitely.
original, there was absolutely no explosion.
Yes, but yeah, in the remake, killed myself up with it all the time.
Well, the other thing that I like about what you can do with explosions is you can change if your game is set up for it, change the terrain of battle as well. I of course would always think of XCOM first, where like explosions are good for damage, but their most important job is to remove someone's cover so that you can actually get the kill. And boy, when you get the upgraded rocket, the alien one that doesn't have to fire in straight lines anymore, because you're essentially like launching some sort of explosive tiny UFO, that's a game changer. Suddenly nowhere is safe. Those straight lines will not save you. Yes, yeah, in XCOM 2, the removal of armor, that's a really important factor as well. Because armor can be a big problem. Yeah, if you don't have the proper explosions, things are going to be an issue in XCOM. XCOM relies on explosions. That's true. I forgot about Valen yelling at people.
Oh, yeah. Hey, we wanted to bring that back and study it. Yeah, well, it needed to die and not kill us.
We wanted to come back.
She wanted to dissect things and interrogate them with a language barrier and check out her subwoofer system. And then she in XCOM 2 inexplicably made souped up versions of bad guys that we have to kill.
Is it really inexplicable, honestly, the way she behaves in that first game?
I mean, it kind of is. I don't remember her souping up aliens. She normally souped up humans. It just, I don't know. Like, don't get me wrong. I think it's a good addition. I don't know.
So I have another one. Speaking of barrels that explode,
Okay.
there was actually for one of my favorite games of the last couple of years, Baldur's Gate 3. There is a whole bit about how to grab the gunpowder barrels from places and set them up in other places so that you can get easy kills with large mobs. I just put one of the videos for it. I couldn't find the one I was looking for because apparently somebody did like a big large barrel explosion to the 1812 Overture. But this is kind of an example that I just put in there.
Did you put it in Watch Together, or am I missing?
Yeah,
it?
I put it in Watch Together, but I've never done this before, so I don't know if I'm doing it right.
So there's
I might be playing it now.
I didn't realize you have the ability to do that.
I didn't realize I had the ability to do that either.
How many barrels was that?
A lot. There is actually like guides to tell you where all the barrels are legitimately in the game so that you can go and grab them and you can use them. There are people who have games like, all right, this is what you're going to do. You're going to grab this chest over here and you're going to put all the barrels in that chest and you're just going to keep it over here in your camp. And then you just go back to camp and you get the barrels that you need. You know, there's a lot of real fun, weirdo things to do, but just exploding barrels. If I can ever find the 1812 Overture one, I'll share that one too. But I mean, there is a lot. And so, I mean,
Well, they stacked the barrels too.
oh yeah.
Why did they just let them stack those?
I mean, because like at where you are in the goblin camp, I don't know how far you made it into, but you can be friendly with the goblins. You don't have to straight up go in and just
okay.
slaughter them. You can just sit there. It's like, hey, buds, what's going on? Yeah, I'm totally down with the absolute. He's my homeboy. That's why I got the little squiggle in my brain and da 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 da. So and you can totally like. There's a whole bunch of ways. Like, there's one way where you can get rid of half of the goblin camp by just basically just partying with them, and when no one's looking, let me just put some poison right there in the big bowl of alcohol, and just let them drink it all and just kill half of them there.
That was so much damage.
Yep. Unleash your inner psychopath by playing Baldur's Gate.
This is the problem with having a game that's DM'd but not fully DM'd.
The other part about it is that you have these games which are what are they? Mercy playthroughs where you play through or pacifist playthroughs. Like Baldur's Gate has the opposite. Like people do the all murder playthrough where the goal is to kill everyone in the game, and you can.
If you want to go full murder hobo.
Oh, there's actually a story. There's actually a legit storyline where you can do that.
That actually reminds me of playing Neverwinter Nights. So
what was that noise?
I
don't know. That must have been Kami'Zite, right?
Yeah.
Always Kami'Zite. But no, Neverwinter Nights. Just good. Just things that I have good memories of Neverwinter's Nights, and
Just I'm so giddy.
I know. It was. So, I would like to play the wizard class, right? And the fireball spell is basically make an explosion wherever, and it was a great tactic. But the problem is the way that game was set up. It was near impossible to hit the enemies without hitting your teammate. So I eventually just said, forget it. I'm not going to have a teammate. I'm just going to solo everything. I'm just going to put stone skin on myself. And then I got to the point where I would just target myself as the target of the fireball because I could tank the damage. And but all the enemies surrounding me would just explode and die. It was great.
no. Anyone else?
I got one. One that's always, it's not really an impressive explosion, but it's one I've always found aesthetically pleasing. And that is the explosions of Star Fox 64.
Agreed.
Just as you blow
There's
up
something
stuff.
about the smart bombs, the explosions of the bosses,
yes.
those big, they're just circles, but they have that flashing strobic effect, and the sound effect that they chose was so perfect. And then when they go off in multiples, my favorite for some reason was always when you diverted the train on the Landmaster planet, one of them. Macbeth, I think it was. And when you diverted the train, and so you didn't even have to fight the boss, he just slams himself into the loading docks, and then the boss that you actually fight, goes in after him, snaps off his wings, and the whole thing goes up. And then it shows the Landmaster driving off in the sunset, except the sunset is the explosion in the distance. That's for just those the nature of those explosions, for as simple and that they were effective and they were always pleasing to me. I think it had a lot to do with the sound effect that they use.
Always loved the smart bombs in that one, and the bosses. I mean, I just think of all the time just seeing all the things crashing into the ground and just it had great explosions. The 64 in general had tons of great explosions. I mean, just think of, I guess my favorite time exploding things on the 64 would have been in GoldenEye. using I don't know if anyone else would make take the remote mines and stack them to make a giant stack that sticks 3 feet off the wall, just kind of a boom sticking out into the middle of the hallway. So if someone walks up, sees that, they're like, "Oh no!"
Yeah, where you discover that the remote mines actually have depth.
Yeah, they have depth, so you could just stack them and make this giant pile of them, and then you could blow them all up at once. I mean, goodness, the remote mines in that game were great. Just being able to, either make the using the depth, but also just throwing them and immediately exploding them that very instant, and so you get that instant kill. I mean, the rocket launchers were pretty good. The grenades were great. The grenade launcher specifically, being able to go around corners. It's like, someone's chasing you, you turn a corner, you immediately turn around, you bank it off the wall, and then your friend sitting next to you starts cursing you out because you killed them when they couldn't even see you. It's great. Just wonderful.
Turns out you were playing TF2 Demo Man a long time ago.
I was. I mean, yeah.
Okay, I was convinced there would be a video somewhere of someone asking the question, how many remote mines can you stack? And I can't find a video.
There actually is a limit. I know, because me and my friends tested it. They would eventually start despawning. You couldn't infinitely put a bunch. I don't remember what the number is, but I do know they do start despawning after a while.
That just feels like some sort of game experiment that some channel should do.
And then, of course, they continued the tradition into Perfect Dark. And then, of course, they added the N-bombs, which don't do damage, but totally messed up your 64. And,
the neural bombs.
And everyone else is trying to play the game.
Yeah, we never played with N-bombs for that reason.
Where your frame rate would drop to 1 frame a second.
Something like that, yeah. It's like you might have the expansion pack, but
it's not enough for those.
It's not that much RAM. No. So I want to talk about one of the most iconic explosions that exist. That would be the Minecraft TNT.
Ah, yes.
So we had an event on our server way back in the day called Demolition Day, where basically we were told, hey, I'm backing up the server and we'll be going back to that backup in 2 days. So there's 1 day of no consequences, and everyone was given creative power so that they could just do whatever they want. So it was called Demolition Day, where we could just blow crap up. And what I love about the TNT in Minecraft is, first of all, the fact that it's all square makes it look silly. But the bigger thing is TNT in Minecraft gets the weird property that once it's triggered, it becomes intangible. And it just causes these fun chain reactions that are hard to predict. And most things that you do can't handle the actual rendering of the graphics. And so there's this great delay. What we're seeing here is the destruction of my Rainbow Road on Demolition Day. And
I love the grin on your face.
It's fun to blow stuff up. How can you not enjoy blowing things up? And just see everything
I just realized
go.
how long ago this was based on your setup.
Oh, yeah. It was a long time ago, man.
I'm trying to think, what was the reason for Demolition Day? Because I
for
feel
fun.
I feel like what it was Dane. I mean,
he was doing something to update the server or something. So it's basically he took a save and he's like, okay, we're going to revert to a previous save anyway, so do whatever you want now.
Well, the other part of the reason was because he created that giant what was it, the StarCraft battle cruiser, and he wanted to test out his working his Yamato cannon actually worked properly, because it was actually a giant thing of TNT that was supposed to like shoot out, and he wanted to test it, and so I actually was there for him testing it, and
I don't have video of that.
I don't think I knew about that.
oh my goodness, in front of the battle cruiser, it created the largest crater ever, and I remember just my screen just lagging watching him do this. Like, I think I was getting like not even a frame a second, as it was just so many explosions. And but when it was finally done, the crater was like, it was like 8 chunks across. It was crazy. I'm pretty sure it was his Yamato cannon, or maybe they just made a giant, or maybe that was someone else making a giant pile of TNT. But yeah, Demolition Day was
Well,
was
he
pretty
also
crazy.
he also tested out a what was it, like basically a space laser where you could nuke stuff from orbit. He wanted to try out a mod of that. So where what it does is
Wasn't
like
that his banhammer
Yes,
laser?
it was. But we don't need to go into the details on that. But yeah, basically you choose a target and it creates a full column from the maximum to minimum of diamond that then turns into TNT. And it just blows
nice.
the snot out of everything.
Maybe that's what he was. Maybe that's what I was watching. I don't know.
That was
it
the
crazy.
super old server when that happened.
That was the super old server.
But no, the I don't know. Explosions in TNT just have a different feel to them. Just because there's that, because there's always a delay to it. There's not an immediate explosion, so there's just that one little warning that you get of the tss. Even it's the same with the creeper and TNT.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Don't forget about, like, if we're talking about explosions in Minecraft, there's nothing like that abject fear, particularly in the alpha build of Minecraft, of walking along and then you just hear that because you knew something bad was about to happen.
Well, yeah, especially before you could kill it, and you just you were doomed when you heard it.
It couldn't kill you, you couldn't kill it, but it could mess up what you had been building.
Yep.
Even watching this now, I'm still giggling at the stupidity of it.
Well, you remember when we were purging the server of the war crimes, or not the war crimes, but
yes. One of them was definitely a war
crimes against nature.
I had that somewhere.
Somebody had created a poultry farm, and it was just this horrifying, all of these chickens cramped into a tiny area that is just...
Yeah, I've got it right here. Let's see. Pulling it up. Where'd it go? Yes, here it is. To whomever created this farm of horrors, we suspect Fredward.
That's right. That was when we were the Justice League meeting out Minecraft Justice.
I just like how everyone pitched in for this.
Well, this was something that needed to be removed.
Do we blow it up immediately? I'm trying to remember now.
Now, this was before they set it up so, like, if you kill a chicken with fire or an explosion, it turns into a cooked piece of chicken. And so we didn't get quite it. Like, I just imagine if we'd done that more recently, there would have been all sorts of cooked chicken just flying everywhere.
It's raining chicken. Man, it was a fun day. But no, seriously, like Minecraft TNT, it's awesome. See, look at this. Look at these horrors. Look at this. Those poor cows and chicken.
We were heroes that day.
We were. Like, especially the cows. The cows are all stuck. They're just like, we're violating the poly exclusion principle. Please help us. We just want to die. Just look at this. It's so insane. Ugh, good times. But no, TNT. It's fun. Another one that's fun. The power missiles, but specifically in Metroid Prime. I feel like they do a better job in Metroid Prime of really selling just the power behind the power missiles.
See, I felt like the super missiles in Super Metroid were actually a really cool advancement in environmental storytelling, kind of, because like when you shot the super missiles and it hit, the screen shook.
Yeah, the screen would shake.
But nothing holds a candle to the power bombs.
Yeah, the power bomb. That's what I wanted to say. Just
yes.
How it would take up the whole screen. It was great.
Well, and I just love how in Terminal Montage, whenever Samus uses a power bomb in that, it blows up the map itself. They're gone. They can live now. But no, those power bombs are so stupid powerful.
Well, maybe it wasn't after. Maybe it wasn't before, because I just asked in chat, did the cows drop cooked steak? So maybe they did.
We just discovered another chicken pen. All right. Why did they need 2 Uber chicken pens?
There were at least 3. Not to mention the giant flying chicken that they built.
Yes. Was that on this video? I don't think it's on this video. I think it must be elsewhere. Anyway. But no, like, I really liked the power missiles in Prime because you had to, instead of it being like a separate missile, it was when you combined your missiles with your charge shot. And so you would have to charge up the fully charged, and then when you hit the missile, Samus would then like put her hand on her cannon and just would, and it would just shove her entire body back. And I don't know, it's one of those weird things. It's hard to even describe the actual mechanics of it, but when you make things feel kinetic, to where it's not just this vague thing that happens on screen, it's also a fully functional thing that you can feel, even though you can't actually feel it, because it's not like the GameCube controller was giving you a ton of haptic feedback outside of some rumble.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
Well, not to mention in Prime, light flashes from explosions, you could see a reflection of Samus's face in the visor.
The first time that happens, that is spooky.
I thought that was like the coolest thing. Well, that and also just climbing out of water and seeing the water drip down the visor. That was a cool moment.
Yeah. No, the first time I saw Samus's eyes, it freaked me out for a second because I didn't understand immediately what it was. It took me like half a second to sort of register, wait, that's a reflection. And I thought, like, for a moment of like, is there something, what? No. Oh, wait. And then it's the coolest thing ever. Even though it's so small, it's just a reflection. It's not that complicated. But it's those little details that just sell things.
True.
So I also want to talk about the most frustrating explosion that exists in gaming. and that's Bowser's Big Blast mini game in Mario Party. I hate that game because it's 100% luck, and my sisters love it because they know I hate it. It's just the giant Bowser head, and you just have a bunch of plungers, and one of them will set off the explosion and launch you clear off the screen.
It's what you deserve.
It's not what I deserve. I'm a good person. Did I not? Did you not see us like putting those poor cows out of their misery? That's what good people do.
Is
That's
it, though?
what heroes do.
Mm-hmm. We can't let them roam free. They wouldn't survive out in the wild.
I mean, you don't know that for sure.
I do know that for sure. No, I just hate that. I hate luck-based games in Mario Party. Like, some luck, okay. All luck drives me insane. I'm like, might as well just roll dice. But my sisters love it because they know it bothers me. I don't know. But I guess that's just the sibling dynamic.
Usually.
True. All right. Does anyone else have any explosions they wish to talk about?
Not that I can think of.
All right. I do remember Breakfast, I think it was saying something earlier, talking about how they got more detail in explosions or something on the N64 relative to other stuff.
No. It was early DOS games.
Early DOS games,
Especially
okay.
early 3D games. We had a game called Death Track, and I also had a game called
Death Track.
Jaeger's Air. It was an air flight simulator. Death Track was a death race game. But because 3D was so primitive, like the actual objects were literally maybe 7 polygons at best. Very rudimentary. But the explosions were sprites and were detailed and drawn out. And so, as my little 5-year-old child self, absolutely delighted in seeing the explosions because I thought the graphics were so good compared to everything else. And that even went up into the age of Descent, which was an early 3D game.
Descent was the first one that had 6 degrees, isn't it? Like in a shooter?
I mean, in a shooter, yes. Quake would come out after Descent. But Descent was, I mean, it was a shooter, but it wasn't really a first-person shooter because, I mean, you get games earlier like X-Wing Fighter where it was also done in a 3D engine, and it had full 6 degrees range of motion. You just weren't stuck in tunnels the whole time unless you were doing the practice sims. So Descent wasn't necessarily the first, but it looked darn good for its time. And it had proper lighting, which was somewhat new for something like that.
Yeah.
For a 3D game. But it always struck out to me, though, because in almost all the games, their graphics were so basic, except the explosions were highly detailed. Even Wing Commander, in which the aircraft itself were also sprite-based, even though it was programmed in a relatively 3D engine. But all the angles of the aircraft that you could see, they were all sprites. And they just slightly shifted sprites between, as the angles changed. The excellent thing about Wing Commander, though, is not only did they explode, although X-Wing did do this too, but in slightly different ways. Wing Commander, the explosions, the sprites would shatter. The explosion would cover it, but you'd also see like debris and stuff flying off in all directions from the explosion. And as you shot up the aircraft, they would also, like parts of them, you'd see parts of them flying off here or there. And they're all just small sprites, and they don't actually represent anything. Like one of them looked like a pipe. It was always very distinct, a curved pipe. But it was just, for the time, it was just kind of delightful. And in X-Wing and TIE Fighter, the ship would also explode, but the actual polygons would separate and like spin off in every direction, like parts of the ship.
I'm trying to find one of these explosions. But unfortunately, it does seem to be a fairly accurate flight sim in that you're not just blowing stuff up 24/7. It's a lot of setup.
Which game are you looking for?
Chuck Yeager. I'm in it. I'm just trying. Oh wait, Mike. No, he's got a guy in his sights. Come on, take him down. This is for cinema. Okay, I see what you're saying about the explosions.
And you had to wait for those explosions because that was the only way you knew the aircraft was actually shot down.
Man. Like, this is an era of 3D that I have forgotten. The old...
Right?
Like, cause it's 100% like effective in conveying 3 dimensions, which is very difficult. There you... Oh, wow,
wow.
yeah, that is
Yeah.
definitely a lot more expressive than than the other stuff.
You can see why it sticks in my head.
Yeah, they definitely put their budget there.
It almost looked like, honestly, it doesn't seem to fit the rest of the game. Like, it's a completely different asset entirely. Though that does remind me of, some of the more lamer explosions from early era games. Did you ever play Top Gun on the NES?
I couldn't figure out how that worked. I was too young.
Yeah, it was, well, that game is, not a good game by any stretch of the imagination. But, like, just the sprite of when you blow something up. It was kind of silly and ridiculous. Speaking of silly and ridiculous, there's a lot of explosions in RPGs that they don't really show that much, but, like, they try and convey what's happening. Whether it be, like, a piece of the map exploding in Final Fantasy IV, like with the bomb ring, or when you drill, when Sid explodes a mountain.
Spoilers, yo.
I didn't... Really old spoilers. Also, Sid exploding a mountain doesn't go into much detail of what actually was going on there, but...
Oh, I know.
Well, how dare you?
I'm giving you a hard
Spoiler for a 25-year-old game.
Yeah, how dare I? And as Lizzie likes to mention, in Pokemon, the exploding
True.
Pokemon such as Voltorb,
Voltorb,
Electro,
yeah.
which shows up in Smash.
Voltorb, the ruiner of so many Pokemon runs.
Yep. Not to mention, that, what is it, Saffron City map in...
Yes, not Saffron, but...
Saffroni?
Or wait, yeah, sorry, in Smash you mean. Sorry, I was thinking the power... the power plant where you try to get Zapdos and, like, they have all these Pokeballs around for you to pick up, but like half of them are Voltorbs and just... They're just self-destructing all the time. And in Gen 1, if I remember correctly, I think the mechanics for self-destruct were even worse than they are now, somehow.
Well, I think in Gen 1, like, they were instant KO on the person using it, but there actually was, like, it was supposed to be 100% hit rate, but it actually... was programmed such that if it rolled, it rolled a number between 0 and 255, and one of those extremes actually was a miss. So there was a 1 in 256 chance of it missing you.
I just remember how many... Oh, geez, I got the hiccups. I just remember how many times... you would just sit there and be like, okay, and then you'd almost kill one and just not quite, and you're just, oh no. Here comes the self-destruct. Also known as sore loser move.
Yeah.
Although apparently it was a real strategy in the competitive scene as sort of a comeback mechanic. Oh, goodness, I can't get rid of these hiccups.
Lush.
All right, keep talking about explosions. I gotta fix this.
Well, I kind of mentioned it earlier, but the nuclear launch mechanic in StarCraft was always
yes.
pretty good.
Nuclear launch detected.
Nuclear launch detected. I actually had a friend that he lived in South Korea for a time, and when he'd meet kids, he'd ask kids, "Oh, do you know any English?" And the kids were like, "Nah, we don't know any English." He's like, "You sure?" I don't know. Can you tell me what nuclear launch detected means? And then the kids would laugh and, well, yeah, I know exactly what that means. But yeah, just that satisfying, getting someone. Well, though to be fair, usually if I heard that, it was someone targeting me, in which case it wasn't satisfying. It was panic-inducing.
That's what makes it so good. Is the panic induction.
It's like, oh no, where's the dot? Where's the? Because if you could kill the ghost fast enough, you could prevent it. But oh gosh,
A weird sentence.
If you kill the ghost, you can stop the nuke. Yeah, that is sort of a weird sentence.
Yeah, but
that old series hero.
True.
Kill the ghost, save the world.
But I mean, there were other explosions that were great in StarCraft as well, like the siege tank in siege mode. That was always a classic.
That was satisfying.
That was always satisfying, and the wraiths shooting the missiles. Ah, so good.
It is satisfying to see it. I'm fighting through it. I can still feel it.
Do you have any lemons?
No. Do lemons help?
Oh, go get a glass
Yes.
of water.
He doesn't get lemons, then he'll try and burn down my house with them.
Well, StarCraft 2 made it a lot easier to see the dot. That's for sure.
In all seriousness, if you're trying to get rid of the hiccups, take a wedge of lemon, put it in your mouth like you were going to take a tequila shot, and then just like suck on it, and it'll get rid of your hiccups.
Well, I'm just holding my breath.
Okay, well, don't pass out.
I do want to ask Looney. You are aware that when you launch a nuke and there's that big red icon in StarCraft 2, that's not what the other player sees, right?
Oh, it's been so long.
No, the other player sees the same. The other player sees the same little dot from StarCraft 1. Only you see the giant icon. That's to let you know where the nuke is going.
Yeah, well, it's because it's so easy to accidentally nuke yourself otherwise.
This is very true.
I've definitely done that before. It's like I can't control Z that mistake away.
That sounds like a self-help book. You can't control Z and nuke.
It's true.
You can't undo who you are.
You wouldn't download a nuke.
I mean, I would.
You wouldn't download some Post-it notes?
Dun 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 dun.
All right, Lizzie's got a great point. As Kamizite in his quest to help you overcome your hiccups mentioned combustible lemons.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yep.
Combustible lemons. When life gives you lemons, make combustible lemons.
Although we never get to see that explosion.
Advice. You never get to see it, but it is one of the greatest explosion references within a video game of all time.
Well, that's what I was saying. Splice doesn't get any lemons because then he'd try and burn down my house with them.
Yes.
So iconic. All right. Well, this is a fun episode. I know it's a random one, but the favorite bombs and explosions in video games. It's one of those topics that I love because I think a lot of people, they start off thinking they don't have strong opinions on it, and then the more you go into it, the more you realize you do have opinions on it.
Wait, I remember that.
And so, I don't know, I'm looking forward to that one. But we're starting to get explosions here as people are lighting off fireworks.
I did actually think of one last one.
Okay, one last one.
Super Metroid, the very end, Zebus.
The planet-wide explosion. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
And if you saved the animals, the tiny little dot flying
The 1 pixel.
The
indicating
1
that
pixel
that
The
they
pixel
survive.
of redemption.
It confuses me that pixel flies off after the planet explodes. And from where it starts and where you see it leave, it easily should have been caught in that explosion.
It was a Millennium Falcon escaping the Death Star explosion, where it's in the explosion, but it bursts out of it.
The explosion's already over by the time you see the pixel.
Well, that's because it takes time for light to travel that fast. That far.
Indeed. I just love that in the terminal montage video, when you get to the end, you're given the option to either save the animals or not.
Classic.
Let me tell you, one of my favorite things that I realized, apparently in Super Metroid randomizer speedruns, or just any speed run at all, people will typically have chat vote, often with money, on whether they save or kill the animals.
Man, that is
To be
complicated.
fair, they don't really kill the animals; they just let them die.
Okay,
It's not
Batman.
the same thing.
Oh gosh.
Oh, one super random off the wall explosion. Trauma center.
Yes, the random bomb mission in Trauma Center. I forgot about that.
The bomb that you have to defuse.
There's like you're
via
clearly
surgery.
you're a
You've been
surgeon.
training for
You
this.
can clearly disarm a bomb.
Doctor, we need you to disarm this atom bomb. Open that stuff up.
Just funny, the Wii version had a much different version than the Switch, not the Switch, the DS version of that bomb, but it's hilarious both times.
I had the hardest time with the Wii version because just getting the screws off wasn't easy with the Wiimote because it wouldn't register the twisting motion very well. But it was just so... I forgot about that. Man, talk about unlocking a memory. I forgot that mission existed.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh,
I mean,
no, I
as you're
actually...
disarming it, it's like, good work, Dr. Styles. You're like, I'm in the middle of something.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I was actually thinking of keep talking and nobody explodes, but then that immediately made me think of Trauma Center, and it just had to bring it up.
Which is sort of the opposite. It's like, would you please stop talking or we might all explode? Man, I forgot about that. Good call. All right, everyone, this has been a fun topic. I hope you all will enjoy your 4th of July. Everyone, let's promote something. Let's start with Commizite. Would you like to promote anything?
I would like to promote Steaks, and I would like to promote Lizzie's stream. Even at work, I'm allowed to watch Lizzie's stream because it's family friendly and because I say it's Lizzie and they say, okay, that's cool then. So you should watch it too.
That's true. Most
work-friendly
workplaces
and
have a
family-friendly.
Lizzie exception.
It is. And it,
She's
Watch
important. People know her.
All right, Lunasar, do you want to promote anything?
Well, in the honor of this discussion and the occasion, I will promote freedom! Give me liberty or blow me up.
Don't think you're quoting it quite correctly. Breakfast, would you like to promote anything?
Do I have anything to promote?
Maybe some indie game or some project.
I've been playing Rabbit Circuit, but everyone who's here should probably already know about that because you streamed it a few times.
Yeah, but they might not.
It's a good game. Try it out.
Definitely.
Very
The music's
Mega Man-esque.
awesome. Mega Man meets Bionic Commando.
Yeah, a little bit.
Mega Man X meets Bionic Commando, I should say.
A little bit more.
Yeah. Baggins, would you like to promote anything?
The Sandstonian Institute of Cosmere Studies. It is a Brandon Sanderson-focused podcast where Jordan, a.k.a. Splice, and I, along with another friend of ours named Amy, will discuss the Cosmere and this series of books that is absolutely incredible. And we're getting a big one, a big release in the series this year. So it's been a very interesting year so far.
It is. he just did a teaser trailer for something called the World Hoppers Ball, and we have no clue what it is. Man. All right, and then you can find me at twitch.tv or kick.tv/splicestream. This Saturday, there will be no stream on Thursday, as that is the 4th of July, but this Saturday, I am launching my new video game quiz show called The Quizzard. We have a lot of different events.
So mad at you.
I am no whatever. You know it's amazing and you love it.
I am furious.
It's
at you
so
in the
bad.
best way.
It's so bad.
It's so
Hey,
good.
little known fact: Splice was actually the little boy in that movie.
Okay.
I didn't
Nice.
want to do anything else.
Okay. I did not want to go to
Nice.
California.
Yes, you
Oh
did.
gosh. I think we overleveled.